everyone, just thought I'd do a video today on a few things that I think that makes the air-cooled Porsches in the Carrera 3.2 some of the coolest cars out there. They're very, very unique. So some of this won't be new to you, but this will be my take on what makes these cars great. And it's a great day to be driving. Alright, I'll start off with the obvious one. What makes this car so special, what makes them so desirable, what makes them different, unique, and cool. And number one, the air-cooled flat six engine. So they've been using this engine since 1964 when the car went into production. And this was upgraded, modified, massaged into all sorts of different cool race cars and street cars and everything in between. Anyway, air-cooled engines are very rare. Of course, when I was growing up as a kid, they were everywhere, and Volkswagen Beetles were everywhere, but as in a performance application like this, very uncommon, and that ended with the 993 series of 911. All right, another cool thing. The floor-mounted pedals. Yes, people think, that's a throwback, that's old. No, they're great. They bolt to the floor. The throttle pedal is linked by a rod through the backbone of the car all the way to the throttle body. So it's an adjustable linkage on the rod with ball joints. That sure beats a cable. Floor-mounted pedals are cool. The third one, Fuchs wheels, forged. They're iconic and dirty, but there they are, and these cars had them. All right, a rear-mounted engine, which is uncommon, but it gets you a few interesting things. You get a front, which a lot of mid-engine cars obviously would have too, but this one's quite generous, and with soft bags, you can support two people on a road trip for a week or two. I mean, you get a lot in there. And it also enables you, because of the rear engine, to have a rear seat, which aren't very helpful, but when you fold them down, that's a lot of volume there. You could fit huge coolers in there, you could fit suitcases, a lot of stuff. And the impact bumpers, front and rear. So these are made of aluminum, and there's little shock absorbers in here to allow this to crush in, and this part is kind of links them together. Anyway, this came out in 1974 in what they call the G series, and it ran to 1989, which this car is a 1989, last year of the impact bumper. These are what we had on the posters in the 80s. Love the long hoods, but no one I knew had those on the wall in the room. Sorry, 911T. And backdaters. I mean, I love to backdate just for the weight savings, but these are the iconic look of this car. Impact bumpers. What is this, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. This is dry sump oiling. There's a big tank right in here. 11 quarts of oil running through the engine, cooling the engine. Pipes that run along here all the way to the front. There's another oil cooler up here. Having a dry sump oiling system shows Porsche was serious about keeping the center of gravity low on these cars by not having an oil pan under the engine, and by preventing oil starvation on high G turns. So this was, they meant business with dry sump oiling. I'll point to those little circles there. Another cool feature, torsion bar springs in the suspension, front and rear. The front have torsion bars going this way, the back have them going this way. That was a key Porsche design element on their cars and their vintage cars. So Beetle 356, first 911s, torsion bar suspension. All right, another cool thing about the car, the shape. So the way it was designed with the rear engine, Bootsy Porsche penned the shape of it, and it's a classic iconic shape, which is enabled by the placement of a flat engine, which is low. But the engine basically is just in this area here. It allows a low rear hatch. So iconic shape. Well, I have to mention, I love the seats. A lot of people change them out. I know they're heavy. These are factory Recaro seats. Most of them had a variation of this. These type of seats. I think all of them were Recaros. They're just so cool looking. They're comfortable. These are the non-sport seats. I love them. As much as I'd love to save 50 pounds, it would pain me to take the iconic seats out of the car. Another cool feature. Factory Recaros. Alright, another cool feature. And, well, it's not perfect, but again, it's iconic. 5 across gauges with the tack right in the middle. Gauges, of course, German VDO. And then, yes, when you're here, let's see if I can get you a good angle. This is kind of the way you would see it. Like over 80 miles an hour, it does block the speedometer. But you're going to jail anyway if you go too much faster than that, so it's better you don't see it. Anyway, 5 across gauges, again, iconic. And while I'm sitting here, I'll just go over the weird HVAC. So you have the fresh air vent, which is up here where that black rectangle is. Lets fresh air in. You have a heater blend with the fresh air. Heater controls are down here. That allows the hot air to come in from the heat exchangers. So this is fresh air, heat, AC. The car was designed before air conditioners were standard in cars, so the AC is a separate system. That's why everyone complains about it. Oh, the AC sucks. It was lucky to even have it. But anyway, cool and quirky, something you'll never see again. Separate controls for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. And while I'm up here again, I will talk about the great steering that these cars have. This is aftermarket steering wheel, but the rear engine placement gives it just delightful steering. So there's not a lot of weight in the front. It's a non-power steering rack, and it is delicious to drive. Gotta love the non-power steering. Something you won't see on these cars ever again. So something people don't really know, these cars were hand assembled. And I'll link a video down below. If something didn't fit, they made it fit. They had templates, they would move metal, they would bend it around, they'd have these big pry bars, they hand welded it. It's very interesting, and you could just see the quality of it. If you ever get a chance, if you're at a Cars and Coffee, ask to open the door. It springs open, and when it closes, it makes an unbelievable sound. Little ting to it. So yeah, hand assembled car, old way. You will never see that again either. So honorable mention on these is bonus points for Cars and Coffee. When you go to Cars and Coffee, it's automatically automotive royalty. So you go right with the exotics. You go with a lot of really cool cars. You're not on Skid Row with your beater. You get into first class accommodations with Cars and Coffee. So that's what I can think of so far, but there's a lot of cool quirks on these cars and things you just won't see again, and the true enthusiasts of these cars love them. So I'm just glad that I could share some of this love with you guys. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. Take care and have a good day.